Gilg Jew, Gilg J as Gilg Nerach.
Sure that Claare na Gael is Wawaliam Saltacha. Hello and welcome to Claare na Gael. My name is Robert Cutting Carswell, Robert de Carslach.
Have you ever had tell of old Bobby Bob?
And I'm here to bring you this programme, Claare na Gael, in two languages. That's to say, in the English language, and Shen de Gray Sigilg. And that's to say, in the Manx Gaelic. Jinyan Amera, the mother tongue of Alan Vanning, the Isle of Man. As Mabanach Dutrish. Looking at old newspapers, there's always interesting articles that have absolutely nothing to do with whatever you might be looking for. Well, this time there's not even the excuse of it being a nice round 200 years ago, because actually it's something from the newspapers for December 1827, so 198 years ago for some reason. Sa sgil as teaglam na brerach yn Grimm de Sian Talier en niber de sŵl na tri mecege leis bwlich yn y clathaws dwn dartege, roes me bel e fedden maag de rawe gynor, a straile sien. Ach den mag sin erdiet tai, as nish na her tai. Martha Woods is a musician, dancer and singer from Lostwithiel in Cornwall. Here she sings her own reworking of a well-travelled song about the herring. Tawas gees jachrich, Radio Vanning Station na Nation, Viscol scalia maag by Dúlish, Ellen Vanning.
As I walked over the salty sand, herring, oh herring, I picked up a herring all in my right hand. Don't you think that that was a fine herring? And what do you think that I made of this head? Herring, oh herring, as fine a great oven as ever baked bread. Don't you think that that was a fine herring? And then what do you think that I made of his tail? Herring, oh herring, as fine a brave frigate as ever set sail. Don't you think that that was a fine herring? And what do you think that I made of his ribs? Herring, oh herring, 40 new cradles and 50 new cribs. Don't you think that that was a fine herring? And then what do you think that I made of his fins? Herring, oh herring, 40 brave needles and 50 brave pins. Don't you think that that was a fine herring? So of all the fell fishes that swim in the sea, herring, oh herring, the herring is the fish for me. Don't you think that that was a fine, think that that was a fine, oh what a jolly fine herring?
Cornish singer Martha Woods and the tale of the herring. And there's another song from Martha later. There's a choice of only two newspapers from 1827, the Manx Sun and the Manx Advertiser. Strangely, we have MANX for Manx Sun and we have MANKS for Manx Advertiser. Still Manx with the KS at the end of it in use at that time. Both of them make free use of newspapers from Britain and Ireland, from which they reproduce articles, so there's not actually very much in the way of glimpses of the island itself. The island's social and commercial life is left to be discovered, at least in part, by the range of advertisements and notices. The Manx Sun came out on a Tuesday and the Manx Advertiser came out on a Thursday. And in this case the Advertiser also simply copied a piece from the Manx Sun, although it also went on to add further information to it. The Manx Sun article starts: During the severe storms which have visited the coasts of the Isle of Man within the last week, the Swedish ship Fortrondret of Karlskrona, Andrew A. Kerman, master, from Marseille bound to Glasgow with a valuable cargo of madder, put into Derby Haven, where she took on board a pilot and 4 men, in addition to her crew of 12. A cargo of madder probably gives rise to the name madril. Madder is the red dye that they used. Erno drawen den jeg na frindes chamai, van mijn jege a chorde boer diendesach, a streve currichisus te grei, boerd, be kudit, te chit de weilient lesh be as jaag blastel. Ach ons taios tan os der nagen de boerd as bela ter son shan boerd ege hin. Luk den mak chit de valje tan ege en chantalier galtige de mai. Ach trette quirre erne de boenen de gitstjacht de Gael gins begeert den boer jindesach sjo, genelle boerd elje sjo ginu weg. As den maxin a Gael niere jean mor bleb rost de golje veg. Ten nabak rei na frindees de muljer. As ten mansje rege a chorde adel. As trette enrit currit roi is te grei brikkelbrit, ten adel spoete maag kunnigen ere. Trud tagert ten nabak chit gesenonthaios as a bresjene, as ten os der fagen na te de junu de redden een as een adel, as ten os der meelater een adel as on adel elje. Guinness so ten nabak gulde valje. Now, having started with a song about herring, this is the traditional Manx song about the herring fishery, sung here by Brian Maxtole. Oh. This is in fact an Irish tune called Alleluia na Gauna.
Alleluia gauna, na gauna, na gauna. Alleluia gauna, na gauna be the barlum. Alleluia gauna, na gauna galabana, na gauna imagine how we get out in the bonta. Alleluia gauna, na gauna, na bona. Alleluia gauna, na gauna be the barlum. Alleluia gauna, na gauna galabana, na gauna imagine how we get out in the bonta. Alleluia gauna, na gauna, na bona. Alleluia gauna, na gauna be the barlum. Alleluia gauna, na gauna galabana, na gauna imagine how we get out in the bonta. Alleluia gauna, na gauna, na bona. Alleluia gauna, na gauna be the barlum. Alleluia gauna, na gauna galabana, na gauna imagine how we get out in the bonta. Sin in der nei heine kan aures tam ya kimma koni kostam launa vi mani gagam feine Svadam vyakan banye talgam Shaglin chan no gauna
Feiterdom sa canna agus feiterdom vuaroch. Is feiterdom sa chiach in a kring ma chuid wachter. Kjol te sien a kringe weg do sir chor in machluasach bevinje. Lamsam gemmenach na mochtjacht chum boelen.
Hallelujah, gauna, bana. Hallelujah, gauna, be the barlam. Hallelujah, gauna, galabona, gauna, imagine how they get turn upon her.
And that was an Irish trio. Well, they weren't an Irish trio. Actually, they are a trio called Northern Lights, with the vocal by Lorgan MacMahuna, who is from Dublin. I think the piper there is actually from Belgium. Ronald de Beck, I think his name is. But that was unexpected, but anyway, very pleasant as well. Alleluia Gauna, actually very unseasonal because it's really about the cattle dancing in the fields. Sa tai ag a ríis, ta néir ag a goltacha as ta nábhac ag a muillir sailge macht déimeach an adal yindasach seo. Lieg dau coré mern an a búnan da chit cúteach dúr ta muillir grishan ag a nim fyr berteach jau ulliu. Bí shen yindasach dúr ta talier. Eischa bí féim orms laborach garach leis ma sneid. As reneshen heen sairach amach as hugge mern de boenen de gitrachelia. Gelees verdulju gitrachelia hugge muljer moru de jinu remus, as renne corlesh adel, as renne scalia mach rich roi. Nish, corsu Gael doorte, as dilia mach briekel brit. Ach gedenk mir an a chor bi, as ren shen sailje mach, nach rauwe berg weg na spoeskierendag na adel bielje. Maar zo, we edden jou regge woeljer boog, tre honneke de rauwe wee mollet. The newspaper story of the Fortrondet continues. But during the violent gale of the 10th inst, she was compelled to leave her anchor in that bay and endeavoured to reach Douglas Harbour. Having failed in the attempt, she let go her remaining anchor, but from which she soon after drifted into the breakers outside of the dangerous, insulated rock of St. Mary in Douglas Bay, and with the first stroke unshipped her rudder and lay in a very hazardous state. The lifeboat, the boat of His Majesty's cutter Swallow, and 2 harbour boats put off to her assistance. It was first attempted by means of horses to bring the vessel into port, but on her striking on the rocks and bilging, this was given up, and the lifeboat, by letting go of her anchor to windward and veering down upon the wreck, was enabled to take all the people and most of their personal luggage from her lee bow. The boat of the Swallow relieved her of part of them, and the whole were thus rescued and brought in safety to Douglas. Emin na Glau is the Welsh title of that piece, which translates as The Rain's Hymn, written and played by Cerys Havana on her triple harp. There's more from Cerys, but not from Cerys's harp, later on.
Manx Radio.
Stasiwn na nasiwn ta radio banning ys taw geisiach rys Claare na Gael. Mish Robert gyda'n carswell o Robert y carslach.
Did the other hear tell of old Bobby Bob?
Tan cledden Claare sure a clash and rys siachten lwg jigol ar sgelia maach ys sien trwy dynnydd ag radio banning ys liorish brw a craman eis rys. Erinnerdag radio banning just de podcast regatten nasty J. Claare na Gael na trúd keerder podcast elia, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Audible, Spotify, Google Podcasts, TuneIn na Alexa. Those on board the Swedish cargo vessel the Fortrondet, wrecked on Coniston, St. Mary's Isle, was successfully taken off and brought into Douglas, where, says the article, every requisite accommodation was provided for them by the Isle of Man Shipwreck Society. On Tuesday, a small part of her cargo was landed. But from the severity of the weather and the state of the vessel, being full of water, with the rocks through her bottom, not the smallest hopes are entertained of her being saved. In these services, the boat of His Majesty's cruiser Swallow was commanded by Lieutenant Strugnell, RN, who rendered every assistance in his power. Sir William Hillary had with him in the lifeboat Lieutenant Greatrix, RN, Lieutenant Robinson, RN, and Mr. Hillary. Mr. McMeekin, agent for packets, also attended in his boat. A tribute of respect is due to the prompt attention of the worthy baronet, who was, as usual, the first to aid the wreck and save the crew. Ren na mulier eig shira ern na boonen de laide. As ots nulju gol de valje gebag is treba der jet. As gerau njater eg een chan dunje ach de rauwe ersen goil nie so sneid eg a rish, as eg een dunje eg de gol de avrige de muljer. Van trasvraer chora heen maar na frindeis de deilje der fooi. As een olde wel gavrige eg een deil, na keurj vies sleoil, ve goil trail jouwer ons insige. Dintje vraer de ons skriwen kreeg ook verridden engel een son. As een nacht der een nies Jerry jane journee nog, rennen oost der, en goiler sulvou na ridden jindesach waak. Treben delen der eiger ninsige geurjegge, as we eerlu de roilt, rennen maasjegge, maar onnesop son een immer gemaaiegge, korde sak. As dintje de rauw maadje tjousdaidje. Voor dem korre graage en zak, as voor die de bia vier in medaal dou, door den dunjeeg. Ach kreeg you a maadje dou. Now, apparently we've eschewed Brian MacStole on this occasion, a song from the Isle of Man. We've just heard Lorgon MacMahuna, and for some reason we have him again now. And the woman yonder down there is the subject of the traditional Irish song that he's singing. We heard him singing with the trio Northern Lights. This is from his solo album, Lorgon MacMahuna, a Van O'Chis.
Abelem Gael tak moirok shoin shoulon es un khana khaira agriya Shahin Skin college do we a hurt no live lash Shahin Sun couple tossy of loss or marnoy. Showing show low.
The voice, once again, of Lorgan MacMahuna and the traditional Irish song Avan Ud His. Niemand dot, dreger a mansje, maar vis per enjach gino ari dot, as tau grey, vaja, mag as a tak. Nien maja limma mag oru, as nie a boelad getrom, na be ebedok de gleisige, na de Gael bal reschachten. As a ginny square by, der a tau grey, vaja, stjach ons a tak. Hugge prendes buiste, as frogge nis a sack, as gauw toiach der na journey en egge. As trer en pecher by saige jarach vaja, mag as a tak. As chalirach mag lesje vaja, as renny cor immer die scotchen den goed, den ferry, as den dream fo, hug jerre a goes de blew. Faster beg de rauw, renke delje der egg a taios, on van der vrer egge mollet. Hugge a poge dromme egge na lai a voer, as gauw toiach der cor kunte je uljune ridden jindesach weer wagen se tail. De jaru, fuddy de wadde winstouw, mag jouw jindesach enjach elje vedergrij. Now, having praised Sir William Hillary, or is it Sir William Hillary? We've seen that before in Claare, Gael, haven't we, where there's poems, particularly by Wordsworth, where the rhyme seems to be Sir William Hillary. So perhaps that was the pronunciation of his name back in those days, but Sir William Hillary seems to be the way everyone pronounces it these days. But anyway, having praised Sir William Hillary and those in the lifeboat, this article, as it appears in the pages of the Manx Sun, finishes by saying that equal praise extends to the care and zeal displayed by the commanding officer of His Majesty's cutter. And that's, of course, the Swallow that we heard about being commanded by Lieutenant Strugnell. And then, having actually, all it does here is it acknowledges Manx Sun. So it's saying that actually that report was taken verbatim out of the pages of the Manx Sun and reproduced here in the Manx Advertiser. In the Manx Sun article, then, it refers to Lieutenant Strugnell, who commanded the ship's boat of His Majesty's cutter Swallow. In fact, he commanded the Swallow, but he took charge of the ship's boat in going to this rescue. On Tuesday, says the Manx Advertiser, which was the day the Manx Sun had gone to press, of course, the Tuesday, on Tuesday it blew a hard gale from the southwest, and a brig, the Dryades of Beaumaris, Jones, master, bound from Teignmouth to Liverpool, laden with pipe clay, was observed making for this port. And when about 2 miles off, Lieutenant Strugnell, with the Swallow's boat, took a cable on board, which lay on the pier head, and waited outside the harbour to render assistance. When the brig got inside the head, that's Douglas Head, she had to encounter a strong squall, which caused her to go to leeward of the harbour. Now this is a song in Breton about the mysterious figure of Ahez, sung by Nolwenn Leroy.
Liuvanos, Vezon Mahalon, Nawilaron, Valina Ros, Ikevinonos, Maham Mafilet, Mahivedaris, Avaizizel, Davori Wilson, Ayeswegadahanon, Adare Dalaron, Beware days, they are gonna lose, Adare Dalaron, Adare Dalaron, Le Fadin, here is on a goal, Mabulus Dior, Tostadaron, and Musim Reis, Grimm Kin Bois, Down at the Gillies, Kintos Donaron, Avaizizel, Davori Wilson, Ayeswegadahanon, Adare Dalaron, Beware the days, they are gonna lose, Adare Dalaron, Adare Dalaron. Die Waskewin, zonen Budanod, Hene Dijaden, David Udejan, Vadruzonor, Die rien à gled, Hegoron Wallet, Hegalon Nigor.
As the chorus said, from Brésisel, Low Brittany, to the Irish Sea, my name is Arhez, and I'm waiting for you. So a slightly threatening figure, it seems, Arhez there. And Breton singer Nolwenn Leroy singing about Arhez, a song for which she gets some composing credit, although the main composing credit seems to go to Gwenin, another Breton singer. The Dryades of the port of Beaumaris in Anismond, the Isle of Anglesey, had been bringing a cargo of pipe clay from the port of Teignmouth in Devon to Liverpool, but the southwest gales had driven her up towards Douglas. However, even when it looked as though it was safe, as the Dryades came under Douglas Head, it was blown past the mouth of the harbour. Lieutenant Strugnall, though, was in the ship's boat of His Majesty's cutter Swallow, and he'd taken a hawser on board from the pier, and he was standing by. The Dryades encountered a strong squall which caused her to go to leeward of the harbour when, says the Manx advertiser, Lieutenant Strugnall instantly made to her assistance and was fortunate enough to get the cable on board, with which, and the help of the people on the pier, she was safely got into port. Too much praise cannot be given to Lieutenant Strugnall for his foresight in having the hawser in readiness, and the manner in which he acted on this occasion. Fuddy, as yn deilad yr eig, dy fod yw lort mychion yn fwr red, fys cor mach bi as joch ers yn hun. As mychion yn adl, fys cor as mychren. Ridden fi vaiad, chanel mi gobble shen. A chanelad weg, casolar is yindus tammy ang eden, as tammy de immerke rumpeen sa tak shen. Esh ren a fair tai fosler na clishnega. Kreis de tail visons munia, svi liklia de vel a sack, lum leden de cleginen. As de sledden care de Royal no de vel uljuner ridden maya chit ons trien. Tre hengt tre en ljavach, ren de goldach schina mache hin vink. As hugge a sackegge von gronegge, mar klusheg. As rennen os der, tre smunien de rauwen dunje kadle de troom, chit, as look de chrome schies, jarne mache de kerelach, as hugge ferelius jakels in a jay. Rauwe delje de ach furchten so de hagert. And there we heard music and a bit of singing from the long-running Scottish band Old Blind Dogs.
The Nation Station, Manx Radio.
Sé stasiwn yn asiwn tynnu sio Radio Fanning, as egen treiton, sé Claare na Gael beskuller skeliamach, mer yn pin, Robert Gytyn Carswell, Robert a Carslach.
Ever heard tell of old Bobby Bob?
Caat chaus van fair tai, cor tarn Donald Jernach. Dilly dunje, Vaja, mach as a tak. Mach les a Vaja tjalirach. As renne cor de dreamen oster, as ons vardeel renne gwys on machin. De surge bij gemach, na strimme van maja boele machen trei griem. der renne tuism trogelú leir. Eist dúirt an déileder, man a velú cordau boord, as an adel, as lau, heg toicht a gaman seo as a nó. Och, nee, na ligga gee, dame a fair tie, as ledden na hurt. Nim cor shen ulju ash the manra, the rawus a cora a vurgain aglach shaw, gol backs attack. Esh dorten den jeg, bim kinjel, sha shira coolina kerach, ach, gau kerel. Esh dame, vaja, stjakons attack. As dege und she. A morra gain hai a déilde rosh leis a bhúrd, as leis an adel a red tai gus an erega. Ban talier fi vanra de jaru, fagan and trasvak eg a rish. Had it not been for his, that's Lieutenant Strugnell's, assistance, the vessel would, without the least doubt, have been a total wreck, as she was not 10 yards off those very dangerous rocks which lie northeast of the harbour. Well, these are the Pollock Rocks, and many a vessel continued to come to grief on these dangerous outcrops so adjacent to the mouth of Douglas Harbour at that time. It wasn't until almost 50 years later, in the early 1870s, that the Victoria Pier made use of the Pollock Rocks as a base, and that, ironically, went on to provide safe berths with an extension of Douglas Harbour. With regard to Lieutenant Strugnell himself, I found an entry for him in a Naval Biographical Dictionary. He was William Baker Strugnell, who'd born on the 27th of January 1788 in Plymouth, and he entered the Navy as a first-class volunteer in November of 1795. So that makes him a 7-year-old. He volunteered and went into service on board a naval ship at the age of 7. Later on, of course, he was placed in command of the Swallow, a revenue cutter, on what was the Irish station, with the Isle of Man at its heart, and he was on that station with the Swallow from 1827 to 1830. Another song from Cornwall now, as Martha Wood sings about the furze bloom, the yellow flowers of the gorse.
There's not a cloud a-sailing by that does not hold a shower. There's not a furze bush on the moor that does not put forth flower. About the roots we need not delve, the branches need not prune. The yellow furze will ever flower and ever loves in tune. Oh, golden furze in bloom, golden furze in bloom. Oh, when the furze is out of flower, the love is out of tune. There's not a season of the year, nor weather hot nor cold, in windy spring, in watery fall, but furze is clad in gold. It blossoms in the falling snow, it blazes bright in June, and love like it is always here and ever opportune. Oh, golden furze in bloom, golden furze in bloom. Oh, when the furze is out of flower, the love is out of tune. Oh, golden furze in bloom, golden furze in bloom. Oh, when the furze is out of flower, the love is out of tune. Beside the fire with toasted crabs, we sit and love is there. In merry spring with apple flowers, it flutters in the air. At harvest when we toss the sheaves, and love with them is tossed. At fall when nipped and sere the leaves, unnipped is love by frost. is out of flower, the love is out of June. Oh, golden furs in bloom, golden furs in, golden furs in bloom, golden furs. Oh, when the furs is out of flower, the love is out of June.
Martha Woods singing a song from Cornwall about the furs, and as we heard the gorse there, oh, the furs in bloom, oh, when the gorse is out of flower, love is out of tune. And of course, as we know, when there's no flower on the gorse, kissing is out of fashion. Now, this rescue in relation to the Welsh cargo vessel the Dryades, in which Lieutenant William Baker Strugnell was involved, led to the award of him of the Silver Medal of the Royal National Shipwreck Institution for his work in rescuing the crew of this brig. Lieutenant Strugnell's brief association with the island at this time was in command of the Swallow between June 1827 and August 1830. He seems to have served in the Royal Navy then until 1844. After that, there's a mention that he became the agent on board a contract mail steam packet. Now, whilst it doesn't say so, I wonder if this has to do with the Isle of Man Steam Packet Company, because I came across another website which is maintained by Clive Strugnell, and he says he's a direct descendant of William Baker Strugnell. And in 2013, Clive Strugnell wrote, I'm visiting the Isle of Man, where he, that's William Baker Strugnell, is buried in the Braddon Newkirk Cemetery. Vrian ege je na ve ninsige mwy sy teil. Tam jit de ve me geileder. Curge vies chleoili dwrt yn As cyrid taw a chorliat tai vain a journeyn ed. Rid fi lechach me fi'n dreger ymac. Maja on sac. Cyrid, dili yn Maja? Genel riddenach few chwish burre tre fuddio giara jay by bilje giara jay by bilje erbije. A gene maja kajene mor bin dorten den jeg. Tre tammy grey. Vaja mach as a tak. Mach les a vaja as te limme a peer gebevis kerel genuadi dau. As te corersen down so riche as genelle square by der am a bit say bult chiskus a talu, as te shir a par doen. Jicha soresh, les a vaja shaw, tammy again ash, a boord as an adel, ren a noste bradach, goiler sul vai an dev rarem. Nishesh, lig de aim by courage erna nisjow, as corquir ulion in a boonen, yes. Now, this is a setting by Dave MacLean of a poem by Mona Douglas, The Garden, from the Mona's Isle, The Legacy of Mona Douglas project, which was proposed by Dave and Liz MacLean. And this setting by Dave of Mona Douglas's poem is sung by Claare Kilgallen, RBV.
There's a little sheltered garden in the hollow of the hill, where the air with sweet bird music is a thrill, and the fragrant summer breeze whispers softly to the trees of the old world grace that lingers in its day. There's a riot in the garden of the hollyhocks abloom, and the honeysuckle's airy golden fume. There the rambler roses blow, and the foxgloves gleam and glow, where Madonna lilies spread their sweet perfume.
Claare Kilgallen, RBB, singing the words of Mona Douglas, set to music by Dave McLean. Ne oljen en a boonen, as you whish as dat geary onsen gree, dort en dele der egg rishen erege, as nim lienen a pogged en och, lesh air. Scone dod en shan talier krelelied, ach hugge mer na mekege, as oljen en a boonen, de Chitrachelia. In 2016, Clive Strugnall notes on his website, I've since found William Baker Strugnall's grave and headstone in the New Kirk Cemetery at Braddon on the Isle of Man. He's recorded, he says, as being in command of the British Coast Guard station on the Isle of Man. Well, Lieutenant Strugnall died at the home of his brother-in-law in Tubman Terrace in Douglas in June of 1850. It's not quite clear when he resumed his association with the island, but after that brief service with the Swallow, the 3 years with the Swallow in command here, he evidently returned and, in fact, is died and is buried here. As Masaw Shenerish, you can enjoy 2 hours of the best of chill-out music for your Sunday evening in the company of Chris Pearson from 7 till 9 o'clock. And at 9 o'clock, Judith Lay will ease you into the early hours of Monday morning with her programme Sundown. Claare Gael closes with more music from the Welsh musician and singer from Machynlleth, Cerys Havana. She's on piano this time with her composition called Torgoch, which means red belly. And it refers to the red belly of the fish called a char, the sabling, and it's darting about in a mountain stream. Ach, den treer jit cartnish de chorcion Claare Gael. So now, until the next time, this is Robert Cutting-Carswell, Robert a Carslach.
Old Bobby Bob.
Wishing you a very good night. Eve I'm a Criors, as Duts, my Yeri and Share.